Thank you so much, Marv. I'm going to turn my screen on here. It is always a delight to meet fellow Rotarians. I've been a Rotarian for 12 years now, but it's even more important, it's an honor to be able to present to Rotarians. When I look at this picture, this is a picture of the Moeller campus on Bates Technical College. Bates has 3 campuses. Moeller campus is the broadcasting school. It used to be the old Fox station, just up there on 19. Remember when Tacoma had KBTC and a radio station and also a commercial broadcaster? Well, this is what we have left now. We have KBTC, public broadcasting station. And I'm going to, when I look at this picture, I take a lot of pride because there's so much going on here. It's kind of one of the biggest secrets, I think, hiding in plain sight. Because it's in your living room and you might watch public television interface with that. But I don't know that folks really know what Bill Moeller, before he left, retired from Bates Technical College, what the vision of this facility was and how we're growing that vision. And as Marv shared with you, since the Great Recession, every single year we've increased fundraising by 20%, which means we're growing our capacity to serve this community better. And so by the time we get done today, in the next 20 minutes or so, you're going to be experts on KBTC and public media here in the South Sound. And you're going to know more about what we do over there at the broadcasting school, which is what it also is. It's more than just a public television station. We're going to start with a little video that'll give you a sense of what public television is all about on a national scale and how we localize that. But I want to remind you that one of the reasons I'm here today and why I love to go meet with service organizations is because public broadcasting and Rotary clubs and Rotarians share an affinity. The 4-way test is as much a guide for public television and public radio. And while we're human and not always perfect, that is our guide. Number 1, is it the truth? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And you know the rest.
These are the pioneers of PBS. Men and women who broke new ground, took chances, and proved that media has the power to change lives. For over 40 years, no other media company has used technology for the benefit of the American people more than PBS. And that spirit of innovation has never been stronger or more needed than now. No other media company does more to help America's children succeed than PBS. We're closing the achievement gap so that every child, no matter where they live, can learn reading, math, and science. And we're changing the face of classroom learning so that children everywhere have the tools they need to thrive in the 21st century. No other media company is doing more to serve the needs of our modern democracy than PBS. Our stations are partnering with other media leaders to transform local independent journalism. We're giving voices that are rarely heard a place to speak out, offering perspectives that surprise and challenge. As America's most trusted media source, PBS is serving our audience as citizens, not consumers, in this new digital democracy. No other media company brings more arts and culture to more Americans than PBS. We're using technology to transform how Americans experience the arts, turning them from passive spectators into active participants. It's an incredible journey that only PBS can take them on. No other media company is more dedicated to our children, our democracy, and our culture than PBS. Every minute on television, and now every pixel online, is focused not on the bottom line, but on helping all Americans make better lives for themselves and their children. Our pioneering spirit inspires us to embrace innovation and new technologies so that everyone can discover more, experience more, and be more.
So at KBTC, we see our viewers, you, our donors, as citizens, not consumers. We're going to talk about that and why that's important. Local programming is very, very important for your local public television station. It's not just the national programs we bring to you. We're going to talk about that. We have the only fully digital broadcasting plant in the South Sound region, south of King County. We'll talk about how that happened and why that's important. We're going to talk about this partnership between Bates Technical College and KBTC PBS and how we leverage that to make our community a better place to live. We're going to talk about who we serve and our funding picture, and then we're going to share how we're currently leveraging those resources by doing what the video said, teaching children how to read and do better in math. And we've got an amazing project that we're doing right now that I'll share with you. So there we go. That's what we're going to cover. We're going to be quick. But let's listen to Devin's story.
12 years old, I was watching great performances on PBS. This program with Nureyev came on. Nureyev in a performance of Le Corsaire, and I was amazed and awestruck. I really wanted to do it. I was street dancing at the time, and I never thought of formal dance until I saw great performances. I knew that I was really a novice to dance, like high dance. I decided to check out the high school performing arts, and so one thing led to the next. Today, as a recognized dancer, I absolutely believe that when I saw the performance, it affected me tremendously, and I know that's what happens when I teach. I'm opening an option for them that they hadn't seen before.
Just a little bit about me. Before I got into public television, that was Desmond's story. Sorry, I said his name wrong. I was a trombone player. I studied teaching and trombone playing. I made my living as a trombonist and as a concert promoter and traveling artist. But at public television, would I see a trombone player? The Lawrence Welk Show on Sundays, OPB, growing up in Vancouver, Washington. That was my chance. They played jazz. I love jazz. They played the New York Philharmonic. I love the New York Philharmonic, and I actually know Joe Alessi, the principal trombonist. Public television is that window to that world. No matter where you live, you have access in the same way that Desmond does. And so that's why public media, because public media takes the time to see our viewers as citizens and not consumers. We're there to inspire. We're there to encourage lifelong learning, no matter where you are in that learning continuum. And so now let's talk about why local production. Well, the short answer there is just what it says. South Sound stories deserve to be told. We're in a media market with about 3 million viewers. It's the 13th largest designated market area by Nielsen. And all of our broadcasters, all of our television broadcasters are in which county? King. They're in King County. Our municipal organizations have done a really good job. We have TV Tacoma. We do have College Vision. Those are part of what we call the PEG channels. But it really is difficult for us. We were just talking in the line. I was talking with the judge here about, oh, here they come, the media from King County to report what's going on with the latest bad news in Tacoma. Well, what we're doing at KBTC is we're not telling bad or good news. We're trying to share all the stories, and it's always about resources. If we have more resources, we can tell more stories. And we do them in an in-depth way. So how do we do that? We have 2 programs that are specific to us that we produce. Northwest Now, which is a talk show program with magazine vignettes in there. We can discuss all types of public affairs and current affairs issues, and then Full Focus, which is our weekly half-an-hour documentary program. At this point, we're able to produce one a month. I, as the development director, imagine what could we do if how many stories could we tell if we could do 2 a month, 3 or 4 a month, if we had that capacity. As a comparison, we have 17 full-time staff at KCTS dedicated to the television station and 4 faculty dedicated to the broadcasting school, with usually about 50 students moving through that program. KCTS, our sister station up in Seattle, over 80 staffers. So there's a little imbalance there, and it's all about resources. You can watch these programs online at any time. We air our shows, and the schedule does change for Northwest Now and Full Focus at 6 and 6:30. 7 o'clock is prime time, which we are about growing viewership, which is what TV stations need to do. But you can also go online. You can see documentary specials, Northwest Now, and Full Focus episodes. And we do something else I'm going to share with you about our shows. We just were down in Chehalis doing a wonderful event around a recent Full Focus program. How do we do it? Well, like I said, we have the only state-of-the-art digital production and broadcasting plant located right there behind that open. And you're welcome to come anytime. Contact me, we'll set up a tour. We've got all kinds of ways for you to get involved with your local public television station. Norm Dix was instrumental in ensuring that KBTC received the funding to make the digital transition. If you remember several years back, that was a big issue, and we had to do everything in high definition. And what happened is our engineers, our director of engineering, who is a graduate of Bates Technical College, built out this plant. Right here. Now, certainly he got advice from other engineers all across the country, and the broadcast world is a big world, but it's still pretty impressive to me. We have a fully high definition, those cameras in the studio there, those high definition cameras, they're exactly what you would see at an NBC studio, that level of equipment. And we need to use it more. We need you to be on Northwest Now if you have a topic of concern. You need to share that with our production team, and I'm going to talk to you about how you can do that as well. But we need the community there. We need the community talking to us. What does the community want to see? And that's why I'm here today.
When I was 6 years old, I saw a program on Melville called Super Bridge. I was in the 1st grade and wasn't doing too good in school. When I was watching it, I was just like so excited. Like I kept asking my dad, why are they using that? What's that? And it was just like so interesting. Me and my mom discovered from Melville that the construction company had a website. I asked them how to get a job there and what I need to do in school. They told me that if I wanted to come build bridge for them, that work in reading and that you're going from an F in reading to A, and for personification, we went to the bridge in St. Louis. I met the engineers and we had lunch there, big foot-long hot dogs. And for dessert, a bridge, we had a cake. Then they brought me a job application. Thank you, Mom, for telling me about Melville, because I know what I want to do with my life now.
I love Sam's story. My son, who's in Scouts, has been to Alaska Airlines, and he's we went to DC, the Air and Space Museum, and he's been up to the Museum of Flight up there, nuts about planes. And we watched Nova together. And we watched another show we have about airplanes that he loves to watch as well. That's what we do. We open up those worlds of possibilities for young people like Sam. And then we want to make the transition because there are those places where you can go get the training you need. And that's how this partnership with Bates Technical College works. We have student interns that are involved with our broadcasting plant and our programming. Matter of fact, we have 2 paid interns just working in my department for community engagement. We received those dollars through grant funding. And the engineering department and the production department always have interns involved too. And if you recognize me, it's because maybe you've seen a pledge drive once in a while. I'm in front of the camera. I have the easy job. It's the students that are behind the camera and running audio that are really getting the job done. And there's a lot of pride when you can walk into a vocational technical situation and actually apply your trade in the process of learning. And that's what is happening. You'll hear me at the end, or one of our pledge talent, thank our students, interns, usually from UPS and PLU and University of Washington Tacoma, but then also our students that are at the Bates Technical College Broadcasting School. As I said, we're available to 1.8 million TV households, about 3 million viewers in Western Washington, which also includes areas additional off-air in British Columbia and all the way down into Longview and Astoria in Oregon. Over 600,000 households tune into KBTC each week. Now, we don't get the big Nielsen numbers. We're not going to get a 20 rating like Oprah can, but we do it through repetition. And you're watching public television. And sometimes you don't know, you're a viewer, big deal, whether it's KBTC or KCTS. And guess what? We don't mind either. We just hope that you watch great TV that's commercial free and you learn something along the way. We'd also like you to connect with us. And this is one of the reasons why over 57%, about 57% of our fundraising comes from viewer support. One of the big things I want to share with you is this is the federal slice. Our annual budget's about $3 million. KCTS's budget's probably somewhere between 18 and 20 million. I haven't looked at their public file, but you can go on their web and look at it. You can look at our numbers too. We're an open, transparent organization. So only 26% of that funding comes from your tax dollars. Viewer support really drives it. Grants. We have a reserve, and on occasion, especially in these tough economic times, so that we're not cutting staff to the bone, we will dip into the reserves, but over $1 million in our reserve. Corporate support, I like to grow that area and the local production support. That's kind of my job. We've grown this significantly in the last 3 years. It's been pretty tremendous growth for the station. Those are the two I'm focused on. National funding provides the seed so that we can do all this other great work. And we believe firmly in community engagement. What does community engagement mean to your local public television station? Well, our jargon is we amplify the broadcast. It's essential to public media. We take a show and then we take it out in the community. So we just did a show called Railroad Ties about the museum down in Chehalis, the Railroad Museum. 50 people showed up for that screening. This is big to their community. We told the history of Centralia and Chehalis in 30 minutes through the thread of the railroad. And some great stories came out. It's a beautiful piece. I urge you to go online and watch it. We're going to be re-airing it here in a couple weeks. That's what we do. We want to make sure we serve those communities that are underserved in Western Washington. We also are very involved in early learning. You know, we have kids shows. We saw Big Bird there. We all know. I grew up on Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Thank goodness for Mr. Rogers. Educational broadcast service is a core of what we do. About 6.5 hours a day for us. KCTS even makes a bigger commitment to children's educational programming. These are commercial-free. Children are not sold anything while they're watching the program, except for actually they are sold one thing: social emotional development, emergent literacy, or improving your reading skills, math, and science. That's what our programs teach. When your grandchildren and children are watching Cartoon Network, I have a recommendation for you. I'll tell you privately what you should do with those channels and that viewing time. As someone who has a degree in education. We also have a media literacy campaign. We teach family, friends, and neighbors how to use the television as a tool. We teach teachers and we teach early childhood care providers. And the big program is our Ready to Learn program. We partnered with the Tacoma Housing Authority. They have this amazing program from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that they funded for 5 years. We've received grant funding now in excess of $125,000. We're working at McCarver Elementary, Stanley Elementary, Al Davies Boys and Girls Club this summer, also with Metro Parks this summer, and the Peace Community Center. 50 families that would otherwise be homeless, and their children, who are ages preschool to 3rd grade, would be mobile. They would not be in a school like McCarver consistently for the entire year. And we're taking our transmedia tools, which is just a fancy buzzword for online learning. And here's a list of our partners so far, current partners. These are current partners, people we're actually doing work with right now. And those are the big ones. The Children's Museum has been a huge partner for us, and our Pierce County Library System has also been an amazing partner for us. A lot of work with Joint Base Fort Lewis. Those families, as you well know by reading the news or hearing the news, lots of need, especially for those single moms, basically, because dad's off or mom's off in a war zone, and they're trying to take care of their kids and need lots of services, and have very few services provided. What do we do with this? Well, we teach. Oh, I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. Sorry, I was just there. We teach people how to use the television shows, programs, and our online media resources, how to use them to teach children and to teach everybody, just like what we were seeing here. Anybody can be, any community member can be a child's mentor or teacher. And you can use public television resources to do that. And so we have all kinds of volunteer opportunities there. I want to leave you with this one last video. So how can you support KBTC? When I say support, I'm not talking about the checkbook, because for Rotarians, it's service above self. I need more board members. We have the KBTC Association. I need volunteers to go into McCarver Elementary and Stanley Elementary and work with the children at the Al Davies Center. The Community Engagement Associate, Susan Barbeau, who came on, hired her shortly after I got there, has been doing amazing work in the community. It's the boots on the ground. And then we need you to interface with your public television station. What do you want to see on TV? What stories, the stories that your lives are intertwined with every single day, are not being covered? What's not the good news, what's not the bad news, but what's the truth that if more of us knew all throughout Western Washington about the South Sound region, Tacoma, Pierce County, and further, well, how would our lives be better or different? You know those stories. Us Rotarians, we live them. We're out there doing this work. So there's my contact information. Please get in touch with me. You can always go online to our website and suggest any story ideas. What I tell folks, let me shepherd it. I don't make the TV. But I interface with the people who do, just like at the Tribune, between their advertising department and the editorial department. There's a firewall. Same thing for us. We want to make sure that when we put it on TV, you can trust it's not biased or paid for. Any questions?